Part 3 of Paddy McQuillan's trip to Glasco. When we went to court, I felt myself a bit nervous and flustered like, but Sonny whispered to me, "The he'll bail you, a very civil body, and I know we're hard on you." "What do you mean?" says I. "As a man on the bench." "Aye," says he, "the middle yen. I ken him rechtly." "And is it Bailey they call him?" says I. I made up my mind to ask him if he were only friend to Robert Bailey of Ballyvigus Mill. It was 2 hours before my case came on. The shopman had a attorney engaged, and the story he told was nearly enough to hang me. When they had done, they got me up, and by good, the cottages be a sorts. I told me way of the story like a man, and I think Mr. Bailey believed me for his manner. "Where do ye come frae, me man?" says the attorney. "For the country din," says I. "Do you wish you'd have stayed there?" says he. "No," says I do not. I would never have made your acquaintance if I'd stayed at home." "You're inclined to be funny," says he. "But tell me now, what brought you to Glasgow?" "Well, sir," says I, "it was a big boat they call the Buffalo." "Come, sir," says he, "what business had you to come here?" "I suppose," says I just come to see the place." "And who do you leave?" says he. "I leave Reckley," says I. "Answer the question," says he. Says I didn't understand ye. "Do you mean what do I eat?" "I mean, who do you get your bread?" says he. "Well," says I, "my ma bakes the best of it. But do you know we get a bit of white bread for the baker?" Man, if you'd heard the fellows in the gallery laughing. Come," says one of the magistrates. "Don't you understand the question? He means, how do you get along in the world? How do you do?" "Pretty well, thank you, your honour," says I. "What are you at all?" says the magistrate in the middle. "I'm a very decent man," says I, "and I ken a friend of yours that would give me a recht good character if he was here." "What's that?" says he. Says I believe your name is Bailey, sir. Are you anything to Robert Bailey that works in the mill at Ballyvigus?" I think he wasn't pleased at me for making say free with him, for he never answered me. But be good he took a book he had it for him. "I doubt, my man," says the attorney chap, "you've been drinking this morning." I hung my head down at that. "Come now," says he, "tell the truth. Were you drinking this morning?" "Well, sir, I was," says I. "Speak up," says he. "Tell the court what you were drinking." "Tay," says I. "Are you sure it was tay?" says he. "No, very," says I. "But they tell me it was all the hay in this country for it." "But had ye something in your tay?" says he. "What do you mean?" says I. "Oh, you're very innocent," says he. "You ken sometimes folk take something in their tay. Now, wasn't there something strong in yours?" "Something strong," says I. "There's a metal spoon in it that would have maced you, do ye, for a coal shovel." "Really, this man has to be stopped," says the head magistrates. "Well, Mr. Bailey," says I, "it's no my fault. He wants to make it appear that I was talking drink. But it's as he leads his life, he judges his neighbours. And it wasn't drinking buttermilk made his nose, sir, at anyway. Begging your pardon, sir." "Never you mind my nose, sir," said the attorney. "Dinna be scared," says I. "I'll no meddle with it. I only like to hae a handful of gunpowder near it anyway." "Well, now," says he, "let's get on. You see her for the country din. Hae you a farm there?" "My ma has a wee bit of ground," says I. "And a fine house," says he. "Well, it's no a bad house," says I. "As is like the inn you was reared, as ocht you ever saw." "Why, you appear to ken me," says he. "I knew you were coming round." And he'd put his shirt neck and looked all round the court. "Come now," says he. "Describe the house to us." "Oh, it's no so ill to do that," says I. "It sits in about 3 square yards of ground, and you can put your hand in the chimney and take a bar out of the door." If you heard the folk in the court when I said that, says the magistrate, says he, "Mr. McGurk, I'm afeard you've met your match, and the time's been wasted," says he. "Begging your pardon, sir," says I, "I'm in no hurry, so long as I get home the night." "I mean ye to spend a wheen of months in jail, my friend," says the attorney. "What for?" says I. "For your abuse of my client," says he. "Your worship," says he, He took my respected client by the ears and hammered his nose with impunity. I did nothing of the kind, says I. I had nothing in my hands of a. And never took a hammer nor any other impunity to him. I just gave his nose a dunt or twa on the counter, and I deserved it, for he's trying to make fun of me. Dismiss the case, says the head magistrate. Long life to your honour, and good luck till you're tired of it, says I. I can't reckly you were a friend of Robert Belly's, for he would just have done the same thing. After I left the court, I made up my mind to start for him that very night. Sonny, me man, says I, I'm gone home. I think he got me fellow Glasco. My ma'll be thinking long to see me. Well, Polly, says he, I'll be sorry when you're gone, and I hope you'll be send me a win of lines now and then. I will do that, Sonny, says I, and maybe I'll come back next year to see ye. That next saw me out in the bread ocean, with nothing but water in me and the sky above my head. And I would begin a good deal of fun myself, safe and sound at my own fireside. It was a nice quiet night, and I was donnering back and forth on the wooden floor of the boat, when a brave good-looking man with a good band out round his cap and a nice blue jacket on him come up alongside of me. I've seen him many a time in the heath past, just like a wrist. All up where the boat's chimneys are, and heard him giving orders to the sailors, and I says to myself that it bits by the captain. Well, what do you think? But he came up to me and spoke to me, and says he, it's a queer, nice night that. It's just that, sir, says I. Are you a seafaring man, says he. No, sir, I am not, says I. I was never on the waters in my life till the night I came across here to Glasgow. I think I might have seen you, says he. You were a wee sick that night. I was bearing a wee says I. Man, I was that bad, I didn't care the boat had went to the bottom. Aye, it was a bit rough that evening, says he. It was a perfect hurricane, says I, and it's a wonder to me that you take your boat sitting in such nicks. You can't little about it, says he. We're out sometimes when the water's dashing over the funnels. Whereabouts is the funnel, says I. Them chimneys, says he, that you notice the smoke coming out of. Man, the boat will be rolling a bit terribly on nicks like that, says I. Aye, it would take you busy to keep your feet, says he. He had a way of keeping her sturdy, says I. I didn't know, says he. I was thinking, says I, that if you would make all the folk stand in the yin place and not run a bit so muckle, that it would be better. He laughed at that. I hope we'll see nae storm the next, says I. We'll be in Belfast soon enough. There's no yin bit use in it wasting your coals, and we're not your boat, so dinna drive her hard. Oh, you needn't be yin bit afeard, says he. Are we near Paddy's milestone yet, says I. We get bit to gang afore we're at, says he. Did you no observe it as you were coming here? No, says I was that sick I could see nothing. We'll be in the sick to it in half an hour, says he. Well, keep a good bit off it, says I, for until it's a very dangerous part. And I carry the nicest conversable man I ever seen. Were you ever wrecked, says I? I was, says he, 3 times. My goodness. And were you not drowned any of the times? No, says he, I escaped with my life. Man dear, but that was a mercy, says I. And what were you wrecked? The first place was among the ice bags on the Arctic Ocean, says he. Ice bags, says I, as I didn't reck shame for folk to pit them there. It's worse than throwing orange skins in the street for folk to slide on. The ship was crushed to pieces, says he. I never heard aught like that, says I. And how did you escape? I got into a big ice bag, says he, and I stayed there until another boat picked me up. And where were you wrecked the next time, says I? We were awa in the Red Sea, says he, and yin night the mate discovered a leak in the bottom of the boat. And what harm could a leak do to her, says I. I didn't mean a garden leak, says he. There was a hole in her that was letting the water in, and we call that a leak. As sure as I'm here, I was the nicest speaking man I ever talked to. And how did you get it off, says I. We worked at the pump, says he, for 3 days, and then we took the boats and reached the land after being nearly starved. Isn't that where they catch the red herring, says I. Where, says he. I'm told, says I, that they come from the Red Sea. He laughed. Where were you right the next time, says I. The third time, says he, we were run ashore at Greenland. Was it up the icy mountains, says I. Very near them, says he, laughing. My, but he was a nice civil-speaking man. Will you take a wee taste of something, says he. What would it be, says I. Oh, do you like, says he. Frae ginger ale to champagne. But I take nae drink mysel. Nah, thank you all the same, sir, says I. I dinna take only stimulating liquors. And I think you shouldn't be taking anything of this kind on your boat. Money to get boat until it has been loosed. Just we can drink on her. Oh, it's her true, says he, and he touched his hat to me. I went down the stair. It was a long night, and I was gey glad the next morning to see Belfast. I took the first train I could get gone my road. On another hour, seen me daughter up the road next home. I'm wondering to myself if the neighbours would ken me after all my travels. Just as I opened the gate, I see me ma milking the coo in the close. The coo was that glad to see me that she nearly gave her a flourish and let her roar. Then my ma looked round to see what was wrong, and I can tell you, it wasn't long till she had me in her arms, and she Polly dear, I'm glad to see you safe and home again, and you're no yin bit altered. Well, ma, I seen a good deal since I left you, says I, and it'll take me a long time to tell you all about it. By that time, we had got into the house, and the servant lass had put the kettle on to make me a cup of tea. I changed my clothes and got on my slippers, and when I sat down at the tea table, I looked at the blazing fire, and the big dog wagging its tail with joy, and the smiling face of me ma. I laid myself back in the armchair, and says I, Ma, there's nae place like home.